Hello and welcome back to the Consistory of the Coelc YouTube channel. I'm your host for this video, Reverend Zabel of the St. John's Evangelical Lutheran Church located in Dalby, Queensland, Australia. And today we're continuing through my mini-series on women in the church, where we're going through my book, The Role of Female Laity in the Church. If you'd like to buy your own copy, just head over to lulu.com, search my name or search the Order of Knight George, or even search the title of the book. Either way, you'll find the book and you can buy it. I would also recommend Pastor Clarence Prebeno's book on women pastors and Pastor Vernon Grieger's book on the earthly imagery. What is it? The Earthly Images of the Heavenly Bride. And also, if you want to check out Women Pastors, this book over here, that's put out by the Missouri Synod, and you can buy that from Concordia Publishing House. I'd recommend any of those books. But in this series, we're going through the role of female laity in the church and discussing whether women can serve in certain positions in the church. More liberal churches like the Lutheran Church of Australia, and even these days now like the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, are allowing women to do things in the church which I just don't think they can do. And so in this video series, we're going through what the scriptures say and what other scholars have said, and discussing why women should not serve in these positions. And today we're addressing the question of women leading prayers. Now in the coelc, we wouldn't really have even a male lay person lead prayers if there was a pastor available, but we would allow a lay person to lead the prayers in a lay reading service, or a lay cruister could do that, because that's not a position of preaching and teaching, and the Lutheran confessions based on Holy Scripture only prohibit laity from preaching and teaching when they're not called into the office of the ministry. But they can lead prayers, and the Church Order of Hoyer allowed a lay Kuster to lead Luther's, the recitation of Luther's catechism in the absence of a pastor. And also historically, the church has allowed men and even women to lead the matins and vespers services, although women only in the cases of the nunneries where they're leading other women, which is what we're going to get to kind of in this topic, where what about women leading prayers? Is this a violation of Scripture? Now, Paul says in Corinthians that women shouldn't preach and teach in the church, and so praying isn't a position of preaching and teaching. But the question is leading a prayer a position of authority, which would be condemned by St. Paul's prohibition of women having authority over men in the church, mentioned in 1 Timothy chapter 2. And I would argue that, yes, women leading the prayers, as that is a position of leadership, is an authoritative position. This doesn't mean women can't pray in the church. In 1 Corinthians 11, Paul mentions women praying in the church when he talks about the topic of head coverings. Also in Acts chapter 1 verse 14, we hear about how the apostles were joined in praying with the brothers of Jesus and the women. So women can participate in joint prayers with the congregation, but they can't lead the prayers. And that's particularly because leading prayers is a position of leadership. And if it's a position of leadership, it's an authoritative position, and we're told that women can't have authority over men in the church. So, no, you can't have women leading prayers in the church, because even though it's not a position of preaching and teaching, it is still a position of authority, which women are not to possess in the church. So, yeah, that's kind of it for this topic, this video. It's kind of short. I've been your host, Reverend Zabel. Goodbye and God bless.